What if the person you loved most wasn't who you thought they were? What if the secrets buried deep within your family could shatter everything you believed about love, loyalty, and destiny? Today's story is about a love that crossed impossible divides, a secret that threatened to destroy a family, and a truth that would change lives forever. Victor Blackwood is a man who built his empire from the ground up, a billionaire industrialist known for his ruthless ambition and iron will. Victor's name commands respect and fear in equal measure. But behind the cold, commanding exterior lies a man shaped by sacrifice and loneliness, a man who gave everything to build his legacy, yet lost much of himself along the way. His world is one of control, where vulnerability is a risk he cannot afford. His son, Adrian, grew up in the shadow of that legacy. Unlike his father, Adrian is restless, searching for meaning beyond the gilded cage of wealth and expectation. He longs for a life that feels real, a love that isn't defined by status or power. But escaping the weight of the Blackwood name is no easy task. Meanwhile, in a humble neighborhood miles away from the towering skyscrapers of the Blackwood Empire, Lily Moreno and her mother Maria live a life defined by struggle and resilience. Maria, a woman who has faced hardship with fierce love, works tirelessly to provide for her family. Lily, her daughter, carries that same strength and hope. She juggles multiple jobs, cares for her younger siblings, and dreams of a future where she can break free from the chains of poverty. Two worlds, separated by wealth and circumstance, yet connected by the same human desires: love, acceptance, and the hope for a better tomorrow. Adrian's journey to find himself will lead him to Lily, a meeting that will ignite a love neither expected and unravel secrets that could change everything. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Chapters of Love. If you ever wondered how love can cross the deepest divides, or how family secrets can change everything you thought you knew, this story might just touch a part of your heart you didn't know was waiting to heal. Wherever you're watching from today, drop your location in the comments. I want to hold you close in this journey of love, loss, and unexpected truths. If this opening already speaks to you, please tap that like button. It helps our stories reach others who need them. And if you're new here, subscribe and join our family of hopeless romantics and healing hearts. Every like and every subscription is a quiet promise that these stories will keep living, and I promise they will. Adrian Blackwood had never known a world without walls. Walls built of wealth, expectation, and legacy. Raised in the shadow of his father's towering empire, his life had been a series of carefully scripted moments. Private tutors, exclusive clubs, and endless pressure to become the perfect heir. But today, as he stepped off the sleek private jet onto the cracked pavement of a city far removed from his gilded existence, something inside him stirred, a restless yearning for something real, something unfiltered by money or status. The city greeted him with a cacophony of sounds and colors that made his polished world seem distant and unreal. Vendors shouted their wares in a dozen languages. Children darted between stalls chasing laughter, and the scent of spices and street food mingled with the hum of everyday life. Here, no one cared about the Blackwood name. Here, Adrian was just another face in the crowd. He wandered through the bustling streets, his tailored shoes crunching on gravel, eyes wide with curiosity. The air was thick with life, raw, unpredictable, and beautiful in its imperfection. It was a world he had only glimpsed through the tinted windows of luxury cars and the filtered stories of his privileged upbringing. Drawn by the vibrant energy, Adrian found himself at a weekend market, a gathering place where locals sold handmade crafts, fresh produce, and stories passed down through generations. The stalls were a kaleidoscope of colors, woven baskets, painted ceramics, and fragrant herbs piled high. Children played nearby, their laughter ringing clear and free. And then he saw her, Lily Moreno. She stood behind a small wooden stall, arranging wildflowers with hands that were both delicate and strong. Her dark hair was pulled back in a loose braid, strands escaping the frame of face that was both beautiful and worn by life's hardships. Her eyes, bright and warm, lifted to meet his gaze for a brief moment, a spark of recognition, or perhaps surprise. She smiled, a little shy but genuine, and Adrian felt a pull he hadn't expected. Their worlds couldn't have been more different. He, the heir to a vast fortune, cloaked in tailored clothes and guarded by privilege. She, A young woman shaped by hardship and hope, her spirit unbroken by the weight of poverty. Yet in that fleeting glance, something bridged the gap. Adrian approached cautiously, aware of the invisible walls that separated them. "These are beautiful," he said, nodding toward the flowers. Bright sunflowers, delicate daisies, and sprigs of lavender. Lily's smile deepened. "Thank you. They're from my mother's garden. We grow what we can." He noticed the worn gloves on her hands, the faint calluses that spoke of hard work. "Your mother must be very proud." "She is," Lily said softly. "She's the strongest person I know." They began to talk, first about the flowers, then about the city, their dreams, and the small joys that made life worth living. Adrian found himself laughing at Lily's quick wit and touched by her fierce determination. She spoke of her family, her hopes to become a teacher, and the sacrifices she made every day to keep her younger siblings fed and in school. "I've never met anyone like you," Adrian admitted, his voice low. "You make this place feel alive." Lily looked down, brushing a stray lock of hair behind her ear. "It's not always easy, but it's home." For the first time, Adrian felt seen, not as a Blackwood, but as a man searching for meaning. The walls he built around himself began to crumble, replaced by a fragile hope. But beneath the warmth, hesitation lingered. He knew the gulf between their lives was vast, and the world he came from would never accept her. Lily, too, guarded her heart, wary of promises that might crumble under the weight of reality. "Why are you here?" she asked quietly, eyes searching his. "Looking for something real," Adrian said honestly. "Something money can't buy." Lily smiled, a mixture of sadness and understanding. "Good luck with that." As the sun dipped below the skyline, casting golden light over the market, Adrian and Lily parted with a promise to meet again, a fragile beginning to a love neither fully understood yet. That night, Adrian lay awake in his modest rented apartment. The city's distance sounds a lullaby and a reminder how far he was from home. He wrestled with the life he'd been born into and the life he longed to claim. Could he break free from his father's shadow? Could love truly bridge the divide between two worlds? Meanwhile, Lily returned to her small apartment, where her mother Maria waited with a tired smile and a warm embrace. "Did you meet someone?" Maria asked, sensing the change in her daughter. Lily hesitated, then nodded. "Maybe." The days that followed were filled with stolen moments, walks to the city's hidden corners, shared meals from street vendors, and conversations that stretched into the night. Adrian and Lily discovered a connection that transcended their differences, a bond forged in laughter, vulnerability, and the quiet hope of something more. Yet, the shadow of their worlds loomed large. Adrian's phone buzzed constantly with calls from his father's office, reminders of the empire waiting for him. Lily's worries about her family's survival never fully faded. Their love was a fragile flame flickering against the winds of reality. But sometimes, the most fragile flames burn the brightest. After weeks of stolen moments and quiet conversations, Adrian and Lily's bond had deepened beyond what either expected. Their worlds, so different on the surface, had found common ground in shared dreams and honest vulnerability. But love alone could not erase the realities waiting just beyond their bubble. One evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky in shades of amber, Adrian invited Lily to meet his family. It was a tentative step, but one he felt was necessary. He wanted to be honest, to bring her fully into his life. Lily's heart fluttered with nervous excitement and a flicker of fear. She had told her mother, Maria, about Adrian, the son of a billionaire, the man who saw her not as a poor girl, but as someone worth knowing. Maria had listened quietly, her eyes reflecting a mixture of hope and caution. "His name is Adrian Blackwood," Lily had said softly one night. "He's different, Mama. He doesn't care about money or status." Maria's gaze lingered on her daughter, searching for signs of truth and warning. "Be careful. The world they live in is not ours. Sometimes love is enough." Lily nodded, but her heart was stubborn. She believed in the man she had come to know, the man who made her laugh, who listened when no one else did. The day arrived when Adrian asked Lily to come with him to the Blackwood estate. He wanted to introduce her to his family. to bridge the gap between their worlds. The invitation was both a promise and a test. Before they left, Lily sat with Maria, sharing the news. Maria's hands trembled slightly as she held her daughter's face. "Remember who you are," she whispered. "No matter what happens, you are strong." The drive to the estate was quiet, filled with unspoken questions and hopes. Adrian reached for Lily's hand, squeezing it gently. "No matter what, I'm with you." The Blackwood mansion was a fortress of wealth and tradition. As they entered, the grandeur was overwhelming. Marble floors gleamed under crystal chandeliers, and portraits of stern ancestors watched silently from gilded frames. Victor Blackwood awaited them in the drawing room. His presence was commanding, his eyes sharp and assessing. When he saw Lily, a flicker of disdain crossed his face, quickly masked by practiced composure. "Adrian," Victor said, voice steady but cold, "I hear you brought someone home." "This is Lily," Adrian said, voice firm. "She's a woman I love." Victor's gaze swept over Lily, lingering on her simple dress and nervous posture. "I see." The room grew heavy with tension. Victor's disapproval was palpable, a wall rising between Lily and the family she hoped to join. "Adrian," Victor continued, "our family has a legacy to uphold. It is not built on sentiment, but on strength and reputation." Lily met Victor's gaze, steady despite the chill in the air. "I may not come from your world, sir, but I love your son with all my heart." Victor's eyes narrowed. "Love is a luxury that must be balanced with duty. Your background is unknown. That is a risk I cannot accept." Adrian's jaw tightened. "She is part of my life. I will not let prejudice dictate our future." Victor's voice hardened. "You are young and idealistic. The world is not kind to those who defy its rules." Maria's words echoed in Lily's mind. Love isn't always enough. The weight of generations pressed down on Lily. She looked at Adrian, pain and resolve mingling in her eyes. "I came hoping for acceptance," she said quietly, "but I cannot stay where I am not wanted." Before Adrian could respond, Lily turned and left the room, her footsteps echoing like a heartbreak. Adrian stood frozen, torn between loyalty to his father and love for Lily. The man who built an empire was now the greatest obstacle to his happiness. That night, Adrian paced the vast halls, wrestling with doubt and determination. Could he defy his father? Could love truly bridge two worlds? He made a choice. He would fight for Lily, for their love, for a future together, no matter the cost. The night Lily walked away from the Blackwood estate, her heart shattered but her spirit unbroken, Adrian knew that waiting for acceptance was no longer an option. The walls of privilege and prejudice had closed in too tightly, and the love they shared demanded more than whispered promises and stolen moments. It demanded courage, a bold, defiant step into the unknown. Within days, Adrian and Lily made a decision that would change everything. They would elope. The city's outskirts offered a quiet refuge, far from the prying eyes of the elite and the weight of family expectations. In a small, sunlit chapel surrounded by blooming wildflowers, they exchanged vows, simple words heavy with meaning. No grand ballrooms, no glittering guests. Just two souls pledging to face whatever storms might come, together. Lily's hands trembled as she slipped a delicate ring onto Adrian's finger, a symbol not just of love, but a rebellion against a world that sought to keep them apart. Adrian's eyes shone with fierce determination, promising to protect and cherish her no matter the cost. Their secret marriage was a sanctuary, a place where love could breathe free without judgment or fear. In the weeks that followed, Adrian and Lily began building a life away from the Blackwood shadow. They found a modest apartment nestled in a vibrant neighborhood. With a hum of everyday life was a comforting rhythm. The walls were bare at first, but slowly they filled with laughter, memories, and the warmth of shared dreams. Adrian traded tailored suits for worn jeans and simple shirts, learning the beauty of a life unburdened by expectation. Lily, ever resilient, balanced multiple jobs while pursuing her dream of becoming a teacher. Together, they navigated the challenges of their new world. Financial struggles, societal whispers, and the ever-present fear of discovery. Yet, amid the hardships, joy blossomed. Their love deepened with every shared meal, every quiet evening. every whisper hope for the future. They were partners in the truest sense, building a family not defined by wealth or status, but by trust and devotion. Then came the news that changed everything. Their child was on the way. The pregnancy brought a new light into their lives, a beacon of hope and responsibility. Lily's radiant glow was a testament to the life growing within her, and Adrian's protective instincts soared to heights he never knew existed. The child was more than a symbol of their love. It was a promise of a future they would fight to protect. But with joy came lingering fears. The shadow of the Blackwood name loomed large, a reminder that acceptance was still uncertain. Adrian worried about the legacy his child would inherit, the expectations, the scrutiny, the potential rejection. Lily feared the world her child would be born into, a world that might judge them before they even took their first breath. They spoke often of these fears, their conversations a blend of hope and realism. "We'll face it together," Adrian would say, his voice steady. "No matter what comes as family, our family will stand strong." Lily nodded, drawing strength from his unwavering belief. Our child will know love first. That's what matters. As the months passed, their bond grew stronger, fortified by the challenges they faced and the dreams they nurtured. They created a home filled with love, laughter, and the quiet certainty that, despite the odds, they had chosen each other. Yet, beneath the surface, the question remained, would the world ever accept their love? Would the Blackwood legacy embrace the family Adrian and Lily were building? Or would it remain a barrier too high to climb? The answer was still unknown. But one thing was certain. Adrian and Lily were no longer waiting for permission. They had chosen their path, and they would walk it together, come what may. Years had passed since Adrian and Lily had fled the Blackwood estate, their secret marriage and fledgling family hidden from the world that had rejected them. Their modest apartment had grown into a home filled with laughter, love, and the soft coos of their infant daughter, Emma. Yet, despite the joy they had carved out together, a restless ache lingered in Adrian's heart. A yearning for acceptance, for family, for a place where their love could breathe freely. One crisp autumn morning, as golden leaves danced in the breeze, Adrian made a decision that would change everything. He would return to the estate, not as the obedient son who had fled in silence, but as a man who had chosen love and family on his own terms. With Lily and Emma by his side, he was ready to face the man who had once rejected them and demand the acceptance they deserved. The drive up the winding road to the Blackwood mansion was heavy with anticipation. Lily held Emma close, feeling the weight of the moment settle over them. Adrian's hand found hers, a silent promise of strength and unity. As they stepped to the grand doors, the familiar scent of polished wood and leather filled the air. The estate was as imposing as ever, its grandeur a stark reminder of the world Adrian had left behind. But this time he was not alone. Victor Blackwood stood in the foyer, his tall frame rigid with surprise and guarded authority. His eyes, sharp and calculating, flicked over Lily and the child cradled in her arms. The years had etched lines of age and experience onto his face, but his gaze remained as piercing as ever. "Adrian," Victor said, voice steady but cold, "you've returned." Adrian met his father's gaze without flinching. "I have, with my wife and daughter. We're here to be part of this family." Victor's lips pressed into a thin line. "You bring a child into this world without my consent. That is a grave offense." Lily stepped forward, her voice calm but resolute. "We are your family now, sir, whether you accept it or not." Victor's eyes lingered on Emma, then back to Lily. A flicker of something, recognition, passed through his gaze, quickly replaced by suspicion. Days passed with tense silence and cold formalities. Victor's resistance was palpable, a wall that seemed impenetrable. Yet beneath the surface, questions stirred, questions that would soon unravel the very fabric of their lives. One afternoon, Adrian and Lily decided it was time to bring Maria, Lily's mother, to the estate. Maria had never met Victor, nor did she know his name. Years ago, after a brief, passionate night with a man she never saw again, she had raised Lily alone, never knowing the identity of her child's father. The drive to the mansion was quiet, filled with unspoken tension. Maria clutched Lily's hand tightly. Her heart pounded with a mixture of fear and hope. She had heard stories of the Blackwood family's power and pride, but nothing prepared her for the grandeur that awaited. As they entered the estate, Victor was summoned to the drawing room. When Maria stepped into the room, her eyes locked onto Victor's face. A flicker of recognition crossed her features, a memory long buried, a face from a night she thought forgotten. Victor's gaze met hers, and for a moment, the cold mask slipped. The room held its breath. Maria, Victor said quietly, the name tasting foreign on his tongue. Maria's voice trembled. It's been a long time. The truth spilled forth in raw, painful fragments. Victor confessed to the one-night encounter years ago, the secret he had kept buried beneath layers of ambition and denial. Maria revealed the years of silence, the fear of rejection, and the love she had poured into raising Lily alone. Lily stood between them, the weight of revelation pressing down. She was not just Adrian's wife. She was Victor's daughter. Shock rippled through the room. Adrian's world tilted on its axis. The man he loved was also his half-sister. The emotional fallout was immediate and intense. Victor's pride battled with a newfound sense of responsibility. Maria's pain mingled with relief. Adrian and Lily grappled with the impossible truth. Their relationship tested like never before. Conversations were raw and honest, filled with tears, anger, and tentative hope. Victor struggled to reconcile the man he had been with the father he needed to become. Maria sought forgiveness for the secrets she had kept. Adrian and Lily faced the challenge of redefining their love and family. Yet, amid the chaos, a fragile healing began. The family, fractured by secrets and pain, started to find a new rhythm, one built on acceptance and love in all its complicated forms. Adrian took Lily's hand, his voice steady. "We will face this together, no matter what." Lily nodded, her heart heavy but hopeful, because love is stronger than any secret. And in that moment, beneath the weight of revelation and the promise of forgiveness, a new chapter began. One where family was not just defined by blood, but by the courage to love and the strength to heal. The revelation that Lily was not only Adrian's wife, but also his half-sister sent shockwaves through their lives, shaking the very foundation of their love and family. Yet, amid the turmoil, one constant remained: their daughter Emma, a living symbol of their bond and hope for the future. In the days following the revelation, the atmosphere in the Blackwood estate was thick with tension and unspoken questions. Adrian and Lily found themselves navigating a new, complex relationship, one that demanded they redefine what love and family meant to them. The romantic love that had once flourished between them now had to transform into a deep, protective familial bond. One quiet evening, as the sun dipped low and cast long shadows across the estate's gardens, Adrian sat beside Lily in the nursery, watching Emma sleep peacefully in her crib. The soft rise and fall of their daughter's chest was a soothing reminder of what truly mattered. "We have to find a way to be family," Adrian said quietly, his voice tinged with both sorrow and determination. "Emma deserves that. She deserved to grow up surrounded by love, not secrets." Lily nodded, tears glistening in her eyes. "It's going to be hard, but we owe it to her and to ourselves to try." Their conversations were raw and honest, filled with moments of grief, confusion, and hope. They spoke about boundaries, about how to honor their past love while embracing their new roles as siblings and co-parents. It was a delicate balance, but their commitment to Emma's well-being gave them strength. Emma, innocent and unaware of the storm swirling around her, became the glue holding them together. Her laughter filled the rooms that had once echoed with silence and tension. Her first steps, her curious questions, and her unconditional love reminded Adrian and Lily daily of the family they still had, and the family they could become. Meanwhile, Victor Blackwood faced his own reckoning. The man who had once been a symbol of unyielding power and control now grappled with vulnerability and regret. The knowledge that Lily was his daughter, born from a night he barely remembered, with a woman whose name he had never known, forced him to confront the consequences of his past actions. Victor's pride was bruised, but beneath it lay a growing desire to make amends. He watched Lily with a mixture of awe and remorse, seeing in her the strength and resilience of Maria, the woman who had raised her alone. Slowly, his cold exterior softened, replaced by a genuine wish to be the father Lily deserved. Maria's arrival at the estate marked a turning point. Though she had never known Victor's identity, The moment she stood face to face with him was charged with unspoken history. Their eyes met, and in that silent exchange, years of pain and unanswered questions hung between them. Maria's role became one of healing and bridging. She spoke openly about the struggles of raising Lily alone, the sacrifices she had made, and the love that had never wavered. Her presence softened the edges of the family's fractured relationships, reminding them all that love often comes with hardship, but is worth fighting for. Victor and Maria began tentative conversations. Each stepped forward a fragile thread, weaving their lives closer. Victor sought forgiveness, not just from Maria, but from Lily and Adrian as well. His efforts were met with cautious acceptance, a recognition that healing would take time but was possible. Adrian and Lily witnessed their father's transformation and found space in their hearts to forgive. They understood that the man before them was not the same as the one who had rejected them, but someone striving to grow and repair what had been broken. The presence of Emma became a powerful catalyst for unity. Her innocent laughter and bright eyes reminded them all what truly mattered. Family dinners, once tense and silent, began to fill with tentative smiles and shared stories. Late-night talks peeled back layers of pain, allowing vulnerability to replace resentment. One evening, as the family gathered around the fireplace, Maria shared stories of resilience and hope, tales of love that endured despite hardship. Her words wove a tapestry of connection, reminding them that family is not defined by perfection, but by the courage to forgive and grow. Adrian looked around the room, his gaze resting on Lily, Maria, and Victor. The path ahead was uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, hope blossomed. "We're not the family we thought we'd be," he said quietly. "But maybe that's okay. Maybe this is the family we were meant to be." Lily smiled, her eyes shining with tears. "Together, we can face anything." And so, amid the emotional fallout and the challenges of redefining love and family, they found a new beginning, one built on honesty, acceptance, and the unbreakable bonds of the heart. What if the love you thought was your everything suddenly became your greatest challenge? Today's story dives deep into the tangled web of love, family secrets, and the power of forgiveness. It's a journey that shows us how the strongest bonds often emerge in the most painful truths, and how choosing love, even when it's complicated, can heal the deepest wounds. Love is never simple. It's messy, layered, and sometimes heartbreaking, but it's also resilient and transformative. The story you've just witnessed reminds us that family isn't just about blood. It's about forgiveness, acceptance, and the courage to embrace each other despite the past. If this story touched your heart, please give a like. It helps more than you know. And if you believe in second chances and the healing power of love, subscribe to the Chapters of Love. Here, every story is shared with love and hope, and I'd be honored to have you join our family of dreamers and believers. Remember, beautiful souls, sometimes the end of one chapter is just the beginning of a more beautiful one. Until next time, take care of your precious hearts. With all my love,